On today's episode of Anime Afterthought, Tonikawa, Over the Moon for You, Episode 8, Parents. Ooh. Oh, this was such a good episode. I've been waiting for this to happen. I mean, meeting the in-laws, that is a huge step. But I gotta say, for how NASA built his parents up, weird is the last word I was used to describe them. I mean, awkward, yeah, that's way more appropriate, but who wouldn't be in this type of situation? But I guess that's just a universal laws that kids will be embarrassed of their parents. To me though, what I saw was pure inspirational, devoted parental love. Especially given that final scene where it is unveiled to what the father said to Tsukasa. All I can think is these good parents. Like, being greeted at the threshold in the most conspicuous manner possible, we are finally introduced to NASA's mother. Kanaka seems like a very shy and skittish person, so we see her fumbling over her words, but of course this leads to some comedic gold. As we see Tsukasa introduce herself with her new familial name, her new mother-in-law is quick to retort, hey, that's my name too. So with the introductions off to an awkward start, the only thing that Kanako could do was dip. Running off with the excuse of making tea, she tells NASA to go to the living room where he'll be greeted by his father, who, due to his nerves getting the better of him, has been unable to move a muscle. But with the couples finally coming face to face, it is obvious this situation is awkward. You could cut the tension with a knife, but it seems that words need to be said. This is a matter between a father and his new daughter. So NASA, you go be a big boy and you go jump in the bath and make sure to wash your tushy. But of course, he's under the assumption that as soon as he leaves the room, something weird is gonna happen. And it's only at Tsukasa's behest that he finally gives in. Now, we all have to pay attention to what is about to transpire. The conversation takes an interesting turn. As soon as NASA is done with his bath, the topic eventually ends up on where NASA keeps his valuables. We learn that everything important that he needs is tucked safely away, and a majority of his stuff has been saved to the cloud. I'm so glad they didn't use some kind of weird anime type shit, like they called it the pond or the rainbow. I have no fucking clue. Like, it's so weird. Like, we all know what the fuck you mean. But anyways, yeah, even in case of a fire, he'll be okay. Let's remember that little conversation. But before too long, there's a knock at the door, and it is Kanako, letting the kids know that they're going to bed, and the fact that, you know what, the walls aren't paper thin, but if you're gonna make noise, you might want to keep it down. And at first, NASA is just thinking, wow, this is weird mother being weird, but it dawns on him a couple seconds after, hey, me and her are finally gonna be sleeping on the same level. Is this what mother means? Is this what she was, you know, alluding to? Dude, she called you a dirty boy in the text message. What the fuck do you think? You're newlyweds? Even though NASA is overly excited for the potential of this situation, the reality is starting to set in. What he experienced the other night was definitely lightning in a bottle. As we see him try to replicate the side-by-side sleeping, it just ends up with him in agony and discomfort. But even though his makeshift arm pillow plan fell through, the night definitely still ends in his favor, garnering a good night kiss with Tsukasa taking the lead. Plus, the next morning definitely makes up for it, as Tsukasa wakes up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and begins to change in front of what she assumes is still unconscious NASA. Of course, his mother is proven right once again, as we see this little dirty boy sneak a couple peeks. Now, I have to say, the next couple scenes of this episode make me have this completely out of left field crazy theory about Tsukasa. Obviously, it's not going to be to the extent where I'm imagining, but they're teasing some major shit. Okay, so the next scene has Tsukasa greeted by Inishi, and once again, it is awkward, and he's discovering that he literally has nothing to talk to his daughter-in-law about. But of course, being informed that he is an archaeologist, she brings up the topic of history, and eventually we make it to the father's study. Now, in this study happens to be this handwritten note, something that the father and even NASA remarks that, hey, this is almost ineligible, yet Tsukasa is able to discern that not only, you know, it's a letter, it's a love letter, in fact, something that seems to pique the father's interest. Very suspicious. How is she able to decode this letter when a scholar, a university teacher, wasn't able to, and big bad smarty pants NASA himself couldn't? Remember that. But of course, with NASA's interruption, he has to drop the bomb that, hey, don't you not like history? Once again, we see that she's just placating the father, but she has a big brain idea of her own. You know what? Yes, old buildings, they're boring. But you know what's not boring? My darling. So why don't we combine them? How about this? I want to take pictures of you in front of these historical sites. That way I can truly make memories of my own. God, I'm such a big brain smarty pants, just overflowing with ideas. I absolutely love how this series is good at flipping the script, how each one is able to tease the other. This time it's Tsukasa's turn, as she is forcing NASA to take, let's say, interesting photos. Hey man, go in front of the Buddha and strike a pose, or now we're in front of this place, so I want you to do a flying kick. Of course, that inevitably turns into a selfie at NASA's behest, but eventually this leads us to the second interesting part, pin number 2, as they go to this barren field that once held a castle. It was, you know, at one point the capital, and Tsukasa is, as NASA puts it, although she is so uninterested in history, is so well informed, and the insight she gives about this place, not only knowing the dates, but went on to monologue. Over 100,000 people lived here, laughed here, cried here. Something about this feels awkward, feels weird, and I'm not talking about the funny photo she takes of her startled husband. So I'll just drop the bomb. Is she Princess Kaguya? Is she a fucking immortal? Did she come from the moon? No, obviously she's not. She's probably just very well learned. She said she has a great memory, but they're almost insinuating that she's lived through it. Like, oh, here's an ancient document. Oh, that's just a love letter. Oh, this building. Yeah, I know everything about when it was destroyed, when it was built, how long it was here, and not to mention a breathtakingly realistic insight into the people living here at the time. Like I said, she's probably just very well learned. I'm 99% sure, but that 1% thinks this chick's from the fucking moon. Anyways, this trip for Tsukasa has been memorable, and we're finally given a glimpse into the most important part. When Onishi said to her, as he prostrates himself in front of her, he begins thanking her. Remember, she literally saved NASA's life. Without her, dude would have been roadkill. And you can tell how much they love their son. I mean, he's literally everything to them. So thank you. But I do have a favor, a request of you. Please look after and take care of our son. Oh, it's such an endearing moment where the father is so genuine and Tsukasa shows off her warmth, and even the mother tearing up as she's eavesdropping to the two. Like, this whole situation, this whole trip was just fucking amazing. This is a huge step for them. I mean, this was amazing. And then we end the episode with them returning back to Tokyo, and their apartment caught on fire and everything burned down. What the fuck? Oh my god. Remember when I said, remember the conversation about his all-important documents were in a safety deposit box, so it would be okay if there was even a fire? Oh, how fucking on the nose was that? Fuck. Anyways, I love this episode so much. I love the parents, even though they were nowhere near as weird as NASA described them. They were awkward enough to lead to some pretty comedic moments, especially the mother. When she came to them and said, you know what, like, the walls are thick, but I mean, don't be too loud. Like, that was fucking hilarious. But like I said, they're teasing Tsukasa's past way too much. I think we need to meet some of her fucking family. I really do. But yeah, that's something we're gonna have to worry about way later, because literally their house burnt down. So now Tsukasa, she might have her suitcase, but NASA only has the shit on his person. Fuck, what the hell are they gonna do? Oh, I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. So with all that being said and more Tonikawa, I cannot wait for future episodes.